Hare Krishna. At least in recent history, we know of two kings who were very, very successful and who realized what was the real aim of life. One is, of course, we know Alexander the Great. He had conquered, he was just on a conquering spree, right from Greece. He was going westwards and he came right up to the India, and he was very, very victorious and very proud of his conquest. And but then, while he was passing through the forest, he saw. I mean, everyone else was like paying great respects to him, but there was one sage who was just meditating and he didn't bother by the passing of Alexander the Great with all his troops. And so Alexander felt very much insulted and he went and chastised him. Don't you know who I am? I have been conquering. I'm almost conquered the whole world, and how dare you not pay respects to me? And then the sage very calmly looked at him and he said, "But have you conquered yourself?" And so that made the king think, and that became a kind of the transforming. I mean, the moment of transformation for him, and he realized that actually he had no control over himself. He was always very angry, very agitated, very anxious about the results he's going to have, about what's going to happen in the war, about keeping all his men intact because they were losing. I mean, inspiration, or they were feeling very tired, and then his ambition was the one thing which kept everyone going. He was forcing them to do it, so he had to face with a lot of difficulties, and he realized he hadn't conquered himself at all, and then he went back. Such a drastic thing, just by this one question, that he had not conquered himself. And in much more recent history, we know Ashoka the Great, who was also after fighting the battle of Kalinga, and he was victorious, but he suddenly had a change of heart because he saw how many people were killed, and then he completely changed track and became very religious. He took to Buddhism and propagating in a very large way. So actually, the real, from recent history also we can see that it's no use getting all this conquering and being very victorious doesn't really satisfy the soul. And actually, in the Satya Yuga, there was only one Varna, and all of them were Brahmanas. All used to meditate. There was none of these. I mean, they were all being well maintained, just meditating on the Supreme Lord. Spiritual Krishna consciousness was the topmost occupation. And in Kali Yuga, also it's Ekavarna. What is that? Shudra. But Prabhupada said we have to make it Ekavarna of Brahmanas, and such a big mission to make everyone into Vaishnavas, and which is even above Brahmanas, and gradually get everyone to the Brahmanical platform in the next 10,000 years. The small window we'll have like Satya Yuga, mini Satya Yuga. So, by doing this, we can see that actually the best, the topmost position which can really satisfy us, then the closest, I mean, really the topmost is when you are a servant of Krishna because you're such an intimate associate of the Lord. You become very confidential servant of Krishna. And what can be great, who can be greater than God? And if you are, you can never become God, which people are trying hard, but no one can become God. But at least you can become his close confidential servant and associate, and that is the topmost that we can ever get, and that completely satisfies, and that doesn't matter on whether you're a king or whether you're just an ordinary person. What matters is that for Krishna, he doesn't see by these externals, rather he sees more by the how much love, how much close they are, how much they are ready to do anything for Krishna's satisfaction. And that's why we find that in the spiritual world, the gopis are the topmost devotees. They are just, in terms of external work, they're just cowherd women, and they do ordinary thing of, buttering, churning butter, going and selling that, taking care of family and so on. But Krishna, they are the topmost devotees of Krishna. That means anything is achievable to them. And they're not interested in showing off. I can do this and I can do that. They're just happy doing some simple thing, even service like maybe just churning butter. One gopi's work may be just to churn butter. Another one may be just taking the butter and taking it to Krishna, or boiling milk. Simple jobs, not showing great expertise. Yeah. So, and then in this way, we can see that the real happiness comes in being a loving servant of Krishna and not in trying to become very powerful and conquering over others. Before conquering others, we have to conquer ourselves, our mind and false ego and senses. Hare Krishna.